Hello? We'll try again, shall we? Hello there, viewers. So we went a little bit wrong there. The video was just like having a blip. Anyway, how are you doing?
Yeah, no, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's busy here over at Animation Toolkit. We're just coming into the Christmas period now for all those animation orders. So we're slogging.
Oh, good. So since we last chatted, obviously there's been a lot of Jurassic World Rebirth stuff coming out. But
yeah,
one of the biggest things is that you got married.
Yes, indeed. Yes, I did.
Congratulations.
I'm not wearing the ring because it's getting knackered, but it is on my little pendant. So indeed.
Many congratulations for that. I really liked the Ghostbusters car. I had a lot of time for that one.
Oh, that was such an epic experience. I know we weren't like plowing down the road with proton packs on our firing away and what have you, but at the same time, it's just kind of like it's just so cool watching all the kids on the street just going.
Yeah, I bet.
Fast, so, yeah.
I bet. Absolutely. So viewers, let's just have a little chat about what's coming up. So we're going to discuss basically a bit of the Rebirth hype and recent images that have been sort of going around on Twitter or X and all the other social media platforms, and how it's starting to get closer to release date. Really, it's only 6-7 months away. And it's getting exciting. And we should be imminently with a trailer, I reckon, in the next couple of months. So hopefully that will come soon. We're going to discuss the Empire magazine article that Gareth Edwards spoke about. And then we'll discuss our final thoughts right at the end. And hello to anybody that's in the chat. Feel free to join us. Sup, Allosaurus 1456. Welcome to the stream. So feel free to give us your opinions in the chat as we go. I'll try and get to as many points as possible. Also, if you are listening and you want to leave a comment post the videos once it's gone live, feel free to comment on the video. We'll definitely get back to you on that one. And Mike, it's actually nice for you to give your opinions in person rather than a text format.
Yeah. I was so gutted I couldn't make that last one. There was so much I was like, I really want to talk about season 2. And I just can't.
It's really good as well. It was a great chat. It was a really good chat, that one.
Oh, God, no. Never mind. I've been catching up with a couple of the clips on YouTube anyway, so I'm more or less up to speed with what everyone's been saying on that from the last time you all spoke. So, yeah, no, some good opinions on there. And again, thank you very much for reading out my thoughts through text form.
Yeah, no, pleasure. Well, I think some of the things that you sort of spoke about on that, I kind of agree with anyway. So I thought it was right to sort of share them anyway, regardless, because I think you hit a few nails on the head there quite well. Right, let's go into what we're talking about. Let's talk about the Rebirth hype and the released images. Now, most of the images we've seen on previous podcasts that we've been talking about, what's been getting you the most hyped about the most recent stuff that you've seen?
Honestly, it's Scarlett Johansson's character that's kind of like drawing me in at the moment. I mean, we've not seen much in the way of official sets or concept art or anything that's kind of like teasing what the premise of the film is, but everything that I'm seeing with Scarlett Johansson is really grounding what Rebirth's about. So for me, where we had Chris Pratt, where you had the new shiny Jurassic World, and then it kind of went on the side tangents with Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, Chris Pratt's character seemed to fit that franchise. Whereas Scarlett Johansson feels like a fresh take on that.
Yeah,
so it's
I agree.
not. So she to me feels like a good splice between Alan Grant and Robert Muldoon. That's the vibe I'm getting from just the images alone of her.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued by her character, and I'm really intrigued on how, like, where she's been this whole entire time, and how
Yeah.
they're going to incorporate her as if she's just not just been shoehorned into the. Do you know what I mean? That's my only thing. Like, I have a lot of faith in, you know, the people behind all this. So you know, if it was a brand new writer, then I think I'd be like, oh god, like how they're gonna like bring her character into this. But the fact that it's David Kep, I've got a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, he's got enough ammo in the bank, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's got a strong history with the franchise, and I think that's what we need right now. We need someone that actually understands, even though it's the World Series and not the Park Series. We need someone that understands from the get-go what the whole concept of the Jurassic franchise is. It's not just about, you know, throwing bigger and fiercer creatures at the screen and hoping to terrify young kids. There's a story element there. There's a narrative that needs to be spoken. And although the previous World trilogy kind of tried to do that, after Fallen Kingdom, the narrative just went on a complete flail and just hit the target or missed the target altogether. And you know, there was reason for that. You know, the world was going through COVID. There was a lot of issues on set from what I've learned recently. So I'm not saying that the way that it's missed the target isn't unwarranted, but at the same time, it's like there were things that they could have done to correct the course, and they didn't. They just kind of just let it go the way it did. And I'm hoping now that we've got kept on with Rebirth, that we're going to get a straight shot at this rather than it being another.
Well, yeah, I look at it as like some of my favourite characters in the whole of the Jurassic franchise have been Roland Tembo, you know, Robert Muldoon. Like characters, I know a lot of them have. It's easy when you've got the novel there to sort of, do you know what I mean? But Roland was a character that was written into the show, into the film. It wasn't in the Lost World novel.
Yeah.
So, and I loved that character. I thought it was excellently written, and so that things like that have given me faith that people that are coming new into this, like like ScarJo's character and the new paleontologist, I think they're going to be good. So I'm excited, actually. Really excited. Jurassic Horror 2003 says hi or hola. Which Ultimasaurus would be in a future Jurassic World movie? Which Ultimasaurus wasn't in a live action movie? Jurassic World Rebirth 2025 or Jurassic World Rebirth sequel? I have a feeling if I'm trying to understand what you mean, I think, are we going to get an Ultimasaurus in this new film? And is, I guess, a Dreadnoughtus would class as an Ultimasaurus, or is that an actual species?
That's an actual species. I've heard Ultimasaurus before, and I cannot remember for the life of me on this random.
Like, what do they call the big giant sauropods now?
Hang on. Oh,
what are they call Titanosaurs as like a collective? I don't know.
Yeah, Ultimasaurus.
It's a hybrid. I definitely don't want to see any more hybrids. Not.
Oh wait, is it from the Hasbro Kenner toy line, or was planned to be a part of it?
I don't know.
That sounds familiar now. Yeah. So right, okay, yeah. Ultimasaurus. It was the Triceratops head, T-Rex body, Velociraptor claws, and Stegosaurus Thagomizer.
Oh God, no, nowhere near this film, please, ever.
For me personally, the Ultimasaurus belongs in the animated series. It doesn't belong in the film franchise. That's my personal opinion. Not that I'm trying to say
anything like that.
It has to be canon. I know there's a lot of gatekeepers in our community that's like, but you can't say that.
It would ruin this film already. No chance.
If they're going to do hybrid creatures, though, in Rebirth, I would rather them do something like what they've done in season 2, where it's still like the back with the blind baryonyx. It's still a baryonyx, but there's a minor modification in there. That's the sort of hybridization I want. minute details that are slightly changed. Not we're creating a whole bloody Frankenstein monster.
Yeah, like they did with the blind baryonyx in Chaos Theory. That's enough. That's as much of a hybrid, I guess, or a genetic tampering.
Yeah,
is kind of what I want from going forward. We've done the hybrid route, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think this needs to be about the real animals again now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. Sorry. You was talking about. We need to talk about some more images. So
yes.
So one of the images, before we get into the article, I might as well actually use this.
Mm-hmm.
One of the latest ones is her gun. So we've got. Let me just present that before we go into the article. So we have what I'm assuming is a trank gun. I'm not really big on weapons. So
it has
the fact that there's a big old giant needle on the end. It's not a lethal gun, is it? So I'm wondering whether they shoot it and it, takes a blood sample and then they collect it once it's down, or I don't really know. It does look like that little compartment there will fill up.
Yeah, it's either going to deliver something or it's going to extract something. I mean, we know that the plot of the premise of the film is that they're going to collect DNA from animals, so this might be the particular instrument that they use to do such things. But it definitely has that air of Kenner toy gun that came as an accessory with your action figures for the Jurassic franchise. The first Jurassic Park film, actually, for that matter.
T-Rex Turner.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Do you know what I like about this? Is I love the colour. I love the misty, sort of feel that the place has.
It kind of reminds me of the long grass on Sauna.
It does. It does. I'm going to try and find a image of Lost World Raptor long grass, just for reference. I mean, it's pretty similar. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
It's very up there. Let me go back. Let me screen.
Is it the Vanity Fair one you're looking for?
Look.
Oh no, you're looking for that one, right? Okay.
Oh. It's very similar, isn't it?
Yeah. It's I would say it's roughly about the same height.
It looks like a similar sort of grass. I'm not saying that is what that is, but
no. But I think it's definitely paying homage to that scene alone.
Yeah, it's definitely the same sort of height, isn't it?
But yeah, it's definitely the same sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely one of my most exciting images that they've done. And I know that the paleontologist is obviously in this with her as well, because we've seen that image, haven't we, of them together?
Yeah.
What do you think of the images that were released of the guys in the all-in-one suits doing the spraying?
No, it's without much context, it doesn't really give me much information to suggest whether I should be excited for where this film's going or what. I'm sort of hoping they're going with the DX route, because that to me would be a reason why you'd need guys in biosuits spraying things down. But I don't know. It's like there's so much about this film premise that, because I've not been keeping my eyes and ears glued to Twitter and social media for information on this, because I'm just, as you know, I'm so busy. I'm so busy in real life that I'm not overly clued up about where this could actually go. But everything that I'm seeing so far is definitely got me more excited about what we're going to be getting, as opposed to before, where we got an announcement of a new film. We hadn't had a logo. We hadn't had anything to do with who's going to be cast or anything. So at the time, it was, I'm going off the back of Dominion. I don't care about this. I'm slowly starting to get that feeling back again of wanting to go see this and find out more about it.
I think for me, it's because it's not a direct sequel to Dominion.
Yeah.
That I'm excited again.
Yeah.
Because I think if I was... The moment that Jurassic World Dominion finished, I was a little bit like, okay, what's the plan now? Like,
yeah,
because they kind of built up characters like Kayla Watts and Ramsey into these sort of people that I could imagine carrying the story forward, even as far as Siona Santos. You know, could she escape from the prison break? I don't know. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like these characters, like some of these characters were quite good, and you know, I could see somewhere going with them. And like, I'm actually quite thrilled that we're not going that way, because as much as I actually did like their performances, it wasn't the direction that I wanted the films to go.
Yeah.
And this whole almost starting from scratch, you know, getting Scarlett Johansson was like, oh my God, they've literally just gone, okay, if we're going to do this again, we need to get these people on board. And this route that they've taken is such a gamble, but I'm absolutely here for it. Definitely. And it's definitely made me more excited than it would have been having a Jurassic World 4.
Yeah.
Well, technically, it's a Jurassic World 4. I almost feel like it's a Jurassic World. I don't know. I think they could have done with a title change, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Jurassic Era or something.
Yeah. So it doesn't tie into the previous trilogy. Yeah.
It's like a whole new trilogy all over again. I don't know. It's a bit of a strange one that they've kind of tied it with Jurassic. I get it for branding purposes, but it is strange that the Jurassic logo is so unique and iconic.
Yeah.
That I think the logo alone wouldn't, like, people wouldn't mistake it if it was rebranded.
It's not something that you could easily confuse with any other franchise out there.
Absolutely not.
In itself, it's like the logo alone ties back to the novels. And again, it's like the novels you don't confuse with anybody else. You don't look at a Michael Crichton cover for Jurassic Park and think, oh yeah, that really must be Dragon's Tooth or one of the other books that he's written. It's like you instantly know that's Jurassic Park. You don't even have to read the title. So yeah, for him to not bother with a rebrand per se, like you say, I get it from the standpoint of it's owned by Universal. They don't need to keep cashing out new what's the word, titles. And
I guess where they've made new things in parks, Mike, it might be for that reason. Like, you know, they've got the brand new Jurassic World section in Universal Studios.
Exactly. Well, that's what I mean. It's like it's probably that knock-on effect with it. The reason they probably went from Park to World in the first place is so they didn't have to pay royalties to the Crichton estate. Now that they've got World, it's like, right, we're going to stick with World, because otherwise we're going to have to completely whitewash everything that's attached to it. So you think about, like you say, it's not just the theme parks, it's the merchandise, it's the advertising, it's this, it's that. It's like there's so much tied to it that would literally mean like trillions of dollars, I would imagine, to just wipe all that away and then start with a new thing. But it still would have been nice if it was like Jurassic Era or Jurassic Universe or something. But hey ho, get what we get. I'm really like on the fence with it, but I mean, I get why they've not changed the title name and they've given it a subtitle instead. But I think, given
you know, it's a fresh start. I think it would have been nice
Yeah.
to just have the new logo title, but
Yeah.
What sounds weird to you? Bit of context, please, Allosaurus. Yeah, no. So the about the ecstasies, that's what everyone seems to be talking about. Like, I was a big fan of it in the novel and how it was integrated into the story. Really, really well done. Now the movies did it a slightly different way. If I am right, they kind of made it more lysine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that they almost, that they relied on it as opposed to it was affecting them in a bad way. It was more of like they needed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I like what if that's the way we're going. I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah.
I'm always in the mood for like more of the novel ideas being brought into the shows and the films and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So it'd be interesting to know what they do with that and the mission that she's doing. And what's baffling me is why the paleontologist is needed. Like, why is the paleontologist needed? Like, why is it so she doesn't mistaken the wrong dinosaur? Do you think maybe if she's been sent on this mission?
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine if you're a mercenary, we'll just go with mercenary for this instance because I can't remember what role she's actually playing in terms of her character's background. If she's a mercenary, she's going to be knowing knowledge of guns, of weapons, vehicles, that sort of thing. She's probably not going to have an evening to herself where she's going to sit down and learn all the A to Z of dinosaurs and what habitats they prefer and all the rest of it. So a paleontologist to me would be, if we're going by Jurassic Park standards, would be a decent accessory in the sense of they know what they're talking about when they're going back to dinosaurs. But at this stage in the game, dinosaurs have already been around. So is it really a paleontologist that you need now, or is it more like an animal behaviorist? That's the thing that I'm thinking of. It's like,
well, then you've got Owen, haven't you? As an animal
paleontologist is ideas something that's already hasn't been around for millions of years. But if something's already been around for what we're talking now, about 30, 40 years already now, it should be more or less common knowledge.
It's so mad that when you think about that, how much time that is for these animals to have been in our real world. It's crazy, isn't it? Imagine if that's almost like, you know, like the Area 51 situation, and like no one knows what's really there, and I guess this is like that version of that before, but the islands were like that mystery, weren't they? So let's finish that topic there, and we're going to move on to what the actual article is about. We're going to go for a quick break for about 10-15 seconds, and we'll be back after that. Right, so Empire magazine released an article where they interviewed Gareth Edwards, which I was very pleased about, and it has some very, very interesting things on this article. So I'm going to have a quick read through one of this paragraph here. Gareth Edwards knows his monsters. His debut film, which featured pylon-sized tentacle aliens, was literally titled Monsters. Then he tackled Godzilla, starting a franchise now known as the Monsterverse. So when he tells Empire he's been secretly wanting to make a film like Jurassic World Rebirth since he was 12 years old, we feel obliged to question his use of the adverb. Is that right to say? I can't read it. It's such bad quality.
It's pronounced,
He says, I don't think it's much of a secret. If you watch my other films, he concedes. I can't say it. Can't read it. I think I came out a long time ago. Of course, now he's dealing with a very particular kind of beast, one that requires special handling. There's something kind of mythical about dinosaurs, yet real, you know, he says when we catch up with him just a few weeks after he's wrapped the shoot, now in the thick of assembling the cut. The fact that they really did exist means you can't dismiss them as a threat. When other films try to scare you, you can fob them off and say, well, there's no such thing as monsters, but there's something very primal about dinosaurs because we're mammals with millions of years of embedded instinct that tells us some giant creature at some point is going to chase us and try and kill us. So it feels instantly relatable. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
So he is a big fan, clearly, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds it.
What? Obviously, you read this slightly after me, didn't you? So what was your? Yeah. Did you actually ever watch the film Monsters yet?
Yes, and I watched its follow-up sequel as well. And honestly, Monsters bored the crap out of me. It's not what I mean, visually, it's lovely. It's very beautiful looking film. However, the plot, which basically centers around two people trying to get back home on foot because I think it was something like all transport flights and everything had completely been shot down due to these creatures. So they were basically making their way back from, I want to say, South America back up to the United States on foot, more or less. And yeah, it was just a very drawn out, boring film for me personally. The sequel, however, which I can't remember who directed that one, was a lot more action packed, but the tonal shift was very obvious compared to the first film.
Oh, really?
And I think that's where Gareth Edwards' directing style has its strengths, is that while the story doesn't always appeal to everybody, the story has a very specific structure that is engaging for those that actually do appreciate it.
Yeah.
So the follow-up, like I say, was very much kind of like an action hero, Independence Day type movie, and it was just all over the place. So yeah, he's definitely got strengths, and I can see where if he's been a fan of the franchise since the age of 12, I can see from my perspective where that passion's going to hit right for us as a fan base.
See, for me, like I've never actually watched Monsters. I've seen a few of like a couple of the scenes on YouTube and stuff like that. Watch Godzilla. I really, really like that. Actually, I saw that at the cinema. I really like the home release one version of it as well. He captured the Jurassic feel for me. Cinematography was quite good. Like, I'm no expert, but I mean, like I felt like I was watching something in that sort of universe, if you know what I mean, and it kind of felt like the same. So he definitely hit a nail with that one for me. I just like the fact that he's a fan. I think at least the very least is you're going to get someone that's passionate about this project, and he's going to, give everything he can, and he's got the right tools in place, I think, to not completely balls it up. He goes on and says, where Godzilla was tougher to sell as a specific threat to the lead characters in the movie, Edward explains dinosaurs present and imminent, what's that say? Viscerally direct peril. So if Godzilla needed to be more of a disaster movie, this allows him to make an action horror. I do like a action horror. Much like he points out the original Jurassic Park, which I guess is an action horror, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the Jurassic Park, when you think about what Jurassic Park actually was like, you have, some of it's off screen with nods and hints of violence. Particularly, like you get that first thing straight away. Even the opening scene kind of sets the tone, doesn't it?
Yeah.
With Muldoon, and then you kind of get the pre-show of the raptors, what they're like when they lower the cow into the pen, you're like, okay, these things are just like absolute, like vicious animals.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want to be around them, and
Mm.
it kind of sets it up to like before you've even remotely even seen them.
Mm.
You're already worried about these characters and how they're going to deal with these things.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've not really had that. Like the second film has the luxury of we already know, so we're now in their territory.
Yeah.
Like, so the second we're outside a vehicle, we're already in danger. So you kind of, for the minute those guys got on there, and I guess you could say the same for the third film because it's in the same boat, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then obviously we go to Jurassic World, then we know these animals now, but they're, you know, they're safe. They're behind enclosures in a theme park that's been open for over a decade. So you know these animals are safe. I think the closest we got is when we went back to Fallen Kingdom and they go back to Nublar and the animals are out, and that felt a bit more like the original film. Because they were in peril. They was inside that. Luckily, they was inside a gyrosphere. Without a gyrosphere, they would have been absolutely screwed.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, definitely.
But that gyrosphere saved them. So if he can really hit this, I can't see where he can go wrong. Really,
no.
But I mean, there is a lot of margin for error, but go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I've just looked over his directing filmography, and out of all the franchises that he's worked on Godzilla and Rogue One Star Wars film. Those two films, from a fan's perspective, are absolutely hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah.
He's got the tone right. He's got the if you were in that situation, where would you want to be taken place? So, you know, everyone wants to either be on the dark side or on the rebel side with Star Wars, and he's literally got it so that you're in the thick of the actual rebel squadron. And
you could arguably
go on.
So you could arguably say it was the best movie out of the modern modern Star Wars era.
Having that fan perspective of you know, what Star Wars story that I want to tell, and that's exactly what I would want it to be. It's like something that's, if it's a particular poignant moment in the Star Wars lore, and you know, the characters that he developed around that. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Some of them were kind of a bit didn't get a lot of screen time or weren't really a massive necessity to the plot, but the ones that you did focus on, it was like you felt it. You felt how much of a struggle they had. And it's the same with Godzilla. Every Godzilla film that has ever come since the original 50s movie have always portrayed Godzilla as this massive walking disaster. It's only in the later 60s and 70s films, it kind of like kiddified him a little bit. But then after the 80s, they brought him back to that. He's a walking disaster area. He's not friendly to people. He's just there. He's a presence. And I like that's what he captured. Although I don't agree with how he directed it in terms of having, you know, Godzilla slaps all over the title, and then you only get like 5 minutes of the feet of the creature at the very end of the movie, paying homage to the original, which I get. But again, today's audiences don't want that. They want the title character from start to finish. So on that side of it, I disagree with, but he got the right tonal storytelling for Godzilla perfectly. That's exactly what a fan would do. So I can only imagine great things from him coming with this Jurassic World.
I just hope that we're not gonna, like, because I completely agree with everything you said. So I just hope that we're not going to big this guy up so much that, you know, he's got the paperwork all there in place and then it's an absolute crap show. Yeah, that's really what I don't want. And like, I don't want to sort of, I guess, overhype him too much.
But
at the same time, it's got. I feel like he's got everything in place, I think, for it to be a success.
Yeah,
and it's just got to not sort of cater to the new sort of wokey sort of generation, and I think we'll be fine. Let's carry on. Given that Spielberg's groundbreaking film is one of Edwards' all-time favourite, something he goes back to again and again for inspiration, he didn't require much convincing to take on its 6th sequel. That's mad that we've got 6 Jurassic movies. Though it certainly helped that he was instantly impressed by Jurassic Park writer David Koepp's script for the new installment. It goes back to what I loved about the original, Edwards says, with an embarrassment of riches of different set-piece type scenarios and tense fun action moments. There were a lot of opportunities as a filmmaker to have a lot of fun and try and play games with the audience. That's a key thing. While Edwards is clearly harking back to the original, even shooting in 35mm film for this first time in his career, this will be a whole new chapter in the timeline of Jurassic. Right, let's stop there. Let's just discuss that little section there. Now, like the way it's shot, 35mm, that sort of thing, I don't know enough about it. So for me, as long as it hasn't got the big fat black bars at the top and at the bottom, because I'm not a fan of that. Because I think you've already, like, you know, if you've got a 50-inch TV, you then don't want it at 40 inches, do you? Because the screen's even smaller. That's what I liked about Jurassic World. Jurassic World shot theirs in, I don't know what ratio it was, but it filled the screen. Fallen Kingdom, as much as I thought it was the best cinematic experience, it felt like this. And I didn't like that. Not a fan at all.
Does not work well with the Jurassic franchise. I will agree to that. For me personally, the 35 film, it's interesting that he's going back to that, and I think that might be a stylistic choice in how the film would be viewed, as opposed to whether it's a letterbox or full screen or whichever. So a good example of that, I would say, is if you compare Jurassic Park to Jurassic World, while yes, the two are shot in a similar sort of aesthetic of, you've got a very man-made environments that, and when the dinosaurs come on, it's all CG or animatronics, whichever. But if you look at the grain quality of the films, Jurassic Park has a warmer tone to it than what Jurassic World does, where everything's HD, everything's crisp, and it feels like you've got too much going on in any one scene. Even when it's like down to like simple little details, like during the Indominus attack on the main high street, all the little glistening puddles on the floor, it distracts from the screen. It's like there's too much going on. But if you take that similar sort of scene and put it into what's a good example? Oh, the T-Rex breakout scene. So you've got the wet floor and everything. Even though it's all dark, it's like it feels like it's almost complete darkness. So you don't see all the twinkling stars in the skies. You don't see all the little droplets coming off the trees. It's just ambience is probably the best way I can describe it. So I think that might be one of the reasons he might be going back to it. It doesn't pollute the screen with images that need to be HD, high definition, see every wrinkle, see every ripple from 60 feet away. It's like the audience doesn't need to see that information. What they need to see is the character on the screen, the thing that they're interacting with, and if they're running away from something, how far is it away from them before they get either eaten or escape? That's all they need to worry about.
You know what made me laugh then? It was the fact that you said High Street instead of Main Street. And I was just picturing Indominus Rex trying to get into Debenhams. It was such a... But when just something just like you can't get it out of your brain.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to sort of interrupt you on a flow, but I was just absolutely, it just done me. Stupid anyway. Sorry about that.
No problems.
Right, for the 35mm thing, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. You're probably right, and it might be to do with. I wonder if they're going to add like graining into it. I'm not really a huge fan of that. the grain on movies, but I know some
Possibly.
people. I know some people absolutely love it. I love a crisp screen where it's like, well, I've got a 4K TV and it's just like, wow, it seems like they're in the room with me. I'm more of a fan of that. Like, but what was I going to talk about here? If it goes back to what the original Edward says, with an fun action moments, which is obviously we do like that. You know, the chasing the Jeep situation in Jurassic Park was a good fun moment. New chapter of the timeline of Jurassic. So a new chapter in the timeline. Do you think, is he, I guess we're not going to know about any more until the success of this film, are we really?
Yeah.
I've got a comment here from Jurassic Horror. I hope Direwolf would be a future Jurassic live action movie. And I hope the Direwolf head would look like Hugh Jackman werewolf in Van Helsing or something. I don't even know what to say about that comment. That's so random.
I mean, just to answer, throw my 2 cents into that question, comment, whatever you want to refer to it as. It would be interesting to see direwolves in the franchise. I mean, we got the saber-toothed tiger in
leave that for Chaos
Camp Cretaceous, so it would be nice to see other kind of like mammalian predators and super predators for that matter. But I mean, until we see what this film's about, we can't even speculate about whether we're going to start seeing other prehistoric animals, let alone mammalian, reptilian, amphibian, even aquatic animals for that matter. So I think that's just going to be a case of let's see where this one takes us first, and then start speculating what we'd like to see for the next 2 films.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's things like that are really out there. I do think you've got to be very careful with how you integrate things in, really.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, while Edwards is clearly harking back to the original Even Ship film, which blends elements of the mission movie with some classic Monster Island antics, set 5 years after the dino unleashing events of Jurassic World Dominion. It kicks off in a world which, for the most part, has proven unsuitable as a saurian habitat, with the great beasts retreating to equatorial regions. Now, we obviously knew this already from the plot situation.
Yeah.
It is here that a crack team of specialists picking up a shipwrecked family along the way must track down and gather DNA from 3 of the chunkiest species for the benefit of humanity, and more immediately.
Is that what they've actually written? Seriously?
Yeah. Chunkiest, and for the benefit of humanity, and then more immediately, a big pharmaceutical company. It's too early for Edwards to reveal which species will appear, but he does confirm it will be a mixture of the old favourites and fresh meat. He says, there are new things in the film that I'm really excited about. Choosing his words carefully, but equally there are certain dinosaurs it will be a crime against cinema not to include. So let's talk about that. Which dinosaurs are a crime against cinema not to include?
Well, the classics at the moment are T-Rex, Triceratops, and Velociraptor. They're kind of like your 3 main staple dinosaurs for like whenever you do anything kind of like cinematic dinosaur thing. Dilophosaurus could be a good contender up there because everyone was quite disappointed with Dominion.
Yeah.
And
it's a great opportunity. Sorry, I was just saying, it's a great opportunity for him to do a full-sized dialogue as well. Something different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I mean, that would certainly add more threat to.
At least as
we've
a
already
variant.
seen the small one. It'd be nice to actually see a big version. Yeah.
Yeah, at least as a variant,
And another crime against cinema for not being included. Brachiosaurus, maybe?
Yeah, Brachiotrach, yeah. It's got to
Yeah.
be, hasn't it? Parasaurolophus has got
Yeah,
to be in
yeah.
there, hasn't it? Or we know,
Yeah.
we've seen the para already, haven't we? One of the set images.
Yes. Yeah.
So where are we? There are new things. Let's if this is Isla Sorna, if I don't see Tiger Raptors or the Jurassic Park 3 Raptors, I'm going to be very, very annoyed.
Yeah.
I don't know how strongly you feel. I will be very annoyed if what I'll be like.
I'd be more
just
annoyed.
A wasted opportunity.
Yeah, I think I'd be more annoyed if they are explained as being killed off screen. So yeah, they died out about 3 years before we came to the island. If that's the case, I'd be more upset about that than we've got two packs that have merged together and created very unique patterns between the two species. That would be my hopeful thing to do, but you never know with these things.
I mean,
for all we know, Kep can say that they all died of DX about 4 minutes ago.
Yeah, I like the idea of either or. To be fair, I'd like to see them again with modern CG as well.
Yeah.
I think would be very good. Where are we? Hopefully, it's a good combination. What he can say more about is the person leading the hunt of the colossal quarry, namely Scarlett Johansson as a covert operations expert, Zora Bennett. She's looking for meaning in her life after leaving the military, so she's got a good background. And this opportunity comes along where after it, basically, she'd never have to work again. So she's offered loads of money.
Yeah.
Basically, she'd never have to work again, but thought that through that journey, she starts to question the ethical rights and wrongs of what they're doing. So I'm wondering if, because this isn't she's not on this mission to kill anything, is she? She's on this mission, by the looks of it, to gain something from this.
Yeah.
So does that mean that? Does she find this? Do you think she has a change of heart whilst during like a disaster of something happening, or maybe she accidentally kills something with an overdose of? Because you can probably overdose. Do you know what I mean? What I'm saying, and then she's realized, why am I doing this? This is not worth the money.
I think this is going to be one of those Weyland-Yutani sort of situations where they acquire her, they promise her that they're after these samples to better humanity. She goes and starts doing the job and then finds out that actually what they really want to do is use something for a bioweapon because money and greed and all that other glorious human traits. So I think that's where this is probably leaning more into. This, having heard that now, this feels more like an Aliens-esque plot than a typical sort of like, oh, let's just go and collect a few items and then move on to the next level sort of thing.
Do you know what I like about this? Is I think that I like the fact that it's a very small casting. There's no massive, ACU unit with a. There, well, not that we know. I don't, based from what I can see, there isn't. I like the fact that it seems a bit more secluded, isolated. Her and the paleontologist are quite vulnerable. And I think having that feel, I guess the closest we're going to get is, how when I think Jurassic World, they try to do this, but it just, this part of the film, as much as I absolutely adore that film, this part of the film didn't quite get there for me. It's the bit when Chris Pratt and Bryce, they're out in the forest and they're arguing about the Navajo situation, and
Yeah.
he says this is just a walk in the park 65 million years ago. Now, I kind of felt like, so I was like, yes, this is what I want. I want them to go into the secluded section, and I want to see some of the old park where there's going to be, you know, maybe some wild animals, wild dinosaurs in there they have to deal with. And it was purely just about the Indominus Rex.
Yeah.
Because that was the only thing that had escaped. So
that line would have been better in Fallen Kingdom.
Absolutely. And it was them two going on foot rather than in the gyrospheres, and because the animals are out, they're there, they're back in the Lost World again. So it kind of just missed the trick. I know what they tried to do, and they tried to bring that almost magic of being out and the dinosaurs are out again sort of into the film. It just didn't quite hit, because I think having the Indominus Rex as the only threat, it kind of went away, because they managed to get all the way to the visitor center and the gyrosphere, didn't they, before the Indominus even found them. So that sort of side of things, I think, needs to be nailed quite well. Anyway, let's crack on, because I have been waffling. She's looking at me. Where are we? Ethical rights and wrong for the character. The character he adds was not gender specific in the script, so could have been played by anyone. But the first mention of her name, he knew it had to be Johansson. That's pretty cool. So they've just literally made a character and they've made her the main part. I like that. I've got a lot of time for that. In the first ever meeting I had with Universal and Steven Spielberg, Steven mentioned how he'd once met Scarlett and she'd been super keen to be in a Jurassic film. As soon as I heard that, I thought, that's the end of that meeting, right? Are you going to call her, or are you going to call her, or should I? Thankfully, she was totally up for it. And being totally up for it meant a willingness to slog through really extreme conditions, including real jungles, mangrove swamps, and mountains in Thailand, as well as being thrown into the ocean. But fortunately, Edwards isn't the only one who feels he's living the Jurassic dream. Most actors would have walked off set given the circumstances, he says, but Johansson and her fellow cast, including Mahershala Ali, Jonathan Bailey, and Rupert Friend, doubled down because they were so excited to be in the Jurassic. If you're going to be shocked, awed, and possibly eaten by monsters, it seems you still can't do it better than dinosaurs. What a cool article.
Yeah, that's a really nice little article there. Some good little tidbits as well, in terms of not necessarily anything that we can really sink our teeth into for the plot, but it's kind of alluding to this isn't just going to be, like I say, like a point and a click and collect sort of storyline. There's going to be elements in there that's going to be really interesting to see these characters challenge and be challenged by. Especially now that I know that Johansson at some point is going to end up being thrown into the ocean. So, does that mean that we're going to get an Indominus attack? Not Indominus, sorry, a Mosasaurus attack? Is that going to be part of the...
Well, we might get that scene where they go to rescue that family from the yacht, and it might be partly to do with that. For all we know, it could be, couldn't it? We don't. That's the thing. It's all without a trailer, which I'm desperate to see. I just hope they do it in a more of a classier way, because a lot of the Universal trailers tend to
show you everything.
Show you everything, and I hate that. I just want to share this image that I've seen, which I think is really cool. It's the same scene, but.
Oh yeah, I clocked him a bit earlier. Yeah.
So
I can't quite tell if he's propped up on something, like he's got something impaled in his back, or whether he's looking down at something, because the angle that his head's holding down at doesn't feel like his feet are at the same level as what hers are, and he's too tall. Sorry, he'd be taller if he was actually,
I think to be fair, I think he could just be a really tall guy.
Well, he could be, but that's what I mean, though. It's like the way he's kind of like hunched over. To me, that doesn't indicate someone looking down. When you look down with your head and your neck. This feels like he's more kind of like hunched over, like his upper torso's like carrying the weight of him. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, that's interesting. Take scene at 116.
Oh God.
Take 10.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing this scene.
I like a bit of a character there. I don't know if that's just Scarlet.
Okay.
I don't know if that's Scarlet or that's Zara. So it'd be interesting to know what Scarlet's ears are like normally, or whether she's got all these piercings in normally. Because if that's Zara's character, it might sort of give a bit to a character. Like, is each one of these piercings? I don't know.
Like representation of something. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like every time she's passed the military. Medal of Badge of Honor. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
It's a thought either way, isn't it?
Absolutely.
This is what's going to interest me in the sense of, because we know that she left the military. Did she leave on grounds of emotional reasons, or did she leave because she just felt like it wasn't for her anymore now that the world's populated by dinosaurs? That's what I'm curious about, because in my mind at the moment, the first thing that came to mind was she was in the military. She had either a friend or a love interest that was part of the military. Dinosaurs attacked, and that love or friend got killed, and that's why she left. That to me would be like story arc 101 for why someone would become a mercenary. But yeah, there's a lot more to this, where it's just kind of like I feel like there's more that's going to be interesting for her character development. I really do.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. I think it's going to be. I just like her in it anyway. Generally, like, as much as like the attraction side of things generally helps. But I mean, I like her generally as an actress. I think she's got quite a good range.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm trying to think.
I really can't wait to see what she brings to a Jurassic film.
Yeah.
So. Really excited to see her, and to be fair, I like him as well. I've seen him in lots of stuff. I can never ever say his name. The other actor, Hamishawari or Hamishawari. I can't remember what it was.
Maybe
completely butchered that name. That guy. I've seen him in lots of other stuff, and I think he's excellent too. So it'd be interesting to know what he brings to the table as well. Now, I think we should go to a quick break and then finish up with our final thoughts.
Yeah, of course.
So, guys, if you have been sticking with us all this time, please give the video a thumbs up, help us out, and leave a comment on what your thoughts are so far. And when we come back, we will talk about our final thoughts of just general and what's coming soon on the channel. So, final thoughts. When do you think based on your memory, Mike, when did we get a trailer for the last few films?
I vaguely remember it was definitely in the latter end of the year. I can't remember though if it was like there's a part of me that felt like it was November, December time that we got the last trailer. But I'm now starting to think, because it would be a summer release, won't it? They're not going to change that. That'll
be July 2nd. Yeah, I think July 2nd is nailed on.
They're not going to change that. So I don't know. Maybe it's spring. So to me, it's like they're going to release it during.
They normally do one. They normally do one for Super Bowl, don't they?
Yeah, I was going to say Super Bowl's kind of like the trailer drop period, isn't it?
I think they'll be stupid if they don't release one for Super Bowl.
Oh God, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I think if they're going to drop something as big as the Jurassic World franchise, Super Bowl's going to be like one of the biggest draws that they've got. Outside of that, though, I can't think of any other occasion that they would bring something out, because it's not a Thanksgiving movie, so it won't be the autumn. Like Beetlejuice was released in the trailer for that was dropped on like I think it was like February, March, and that came out in September. So yeah, I think it's going to drop. It's going to be either December, January, February.
Jurassic World trailer release dates. Okay, so let's have a look. Jurassic World. You think I'd actually have some information on that? Doesn't.
It should be somewhere.
Yeah.
Some nerd's going to have written it down somewhere.
Some nerds. Jurassic World trailer release date. I remember there being a scene was in. I remember in April they released a scene, and it was the because I was in Jersey actually on a residential when they released that clip of Claire and Owen when he was fixing his motorbike.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh, this is going to be cool. I like this. This is great.
Yeah.
And I remember them doing the first trailer. The first trailer of Jurassic World made that film seem incredibly cool.
Oh, God, absolutely.
And do you remember when it was like that wow sort of noise in between?
Yeah.
They want to eat. They want to hunt. They want to... Wow.
They want
yeah. Yeah. And then it was just like, see that Allosaurus says, I'm guessing the trailer will come out towards the end of December at the earliest.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what movies are coming out at Christmas time. Obviously, I know Wicked's coming out. Wicked's out now, isn't it?
Yeah, Wicked's either coming out or is out now. I can't remember which it is.
You've got to think of appropriate films that are going to be released. They're not going to release a PG-13 12A trailer at the PG or Universal EU-rated film.
Quick note.
So, what is coming out at Christmas that could possibly be? I feel like there's just not been any marketing for it, is there?
No, there hasn't.
I've not seen a single T-shirt with Rebirth on it.
No,
like normally Primark's good for things like that.
The only things that are popping out at the moment from what I'm looking at is you've got the Mufasa being released, Kraven the Hunter, Sonic 3, and
what at Christmas,
else?
Yeah?
Yeah, Christmas apparently.
Don't know. I reckon we won't get anything until January, February time.
Yeah, I've got a feeling it's going to be like January, February.
I mean, I'm happy to wait. I don't need anything, to be fair. I just
I would be happy if they were going to release anything for December. It would be a teaser trailer, like literally a 10-second teaser and the logo reveal. That's all I'd want. I wouldn't want anything to be like.
Do you know what I want to?
1 minute long trailer, because then it's going to spoil it for me.
Do you know what I want to see? I want to see video footage of the images we've seen.
Yeah.
So, I want to see a panning on the grass scene where Scar's with a gun and maybe some like ambience sound effects of dinosaurs in the background, so we're like, oh my god, we're back. Like, possibly a tease. You know how Star Wars did with the at the end? Maybe even, oh my god, was that the so and so roar? Was that was that the Spinosaur roar, or did just a little tease that makes you dissect every single thing, rather than showing every single thing, you know. That's what I would want from a teaser. Absolutely nothing more. Give us nothing, actually. Just, I guess, a moving version of what we've seen in images.
Yeah, no, exactly. What you want is to be exactly what it is, which is teased. You don't want it to be literally showing the carrot that's being forced in front of your face. You want the aroma to hit you first before you then see the carrot. That's what you want to happen. So if they want bums on seats, they do it by adding that element of mystery to the viewers, the fans. Not, look, kids, it's a Velociraptor. It's jingling and everything. Come.
Yeah,
that doesn't work anymore.
No, I don't. Like we've had, the kids have had their shot with the Chaos Theory, the Camp Cretaceous. Like, let's just please give us something else. Give us something that we want, something that you know that can, something that we can get something out of and come away absolutely buzzing. Because I felt a bit disappointed from Dominion. I don't really. It's the only film I've come away from being disappointed with.
Yeah, it's the only film I've come away from thinking, Jesus Christ, like bloody Jurassic Park 3 is a masterpiece compared to that.
I know. I think I agree with that. I actually really like Jurassic Park 3. I think it's got so much stuff going for it. I know some people do crap all over it because it felt a bit like rushed and a bit. The T-Rex gets killed and all that sort of rubbish. But I think for what you get out of it, it's a good fun action adventure film, ain't it? And it's so simple. Exactly. The dialogue is so memorable. Like, I'm trying to think of any dialogue in Dominion that I can find as memorable dialogue, other than a dog humped my leg so much. True story, from Malcolm in the tunnels. But he's talking about his dog humping his leg that give him, is it a callus or something like that? I can't remember what he said.
I don't remember that.
You don't? That's what I mean. Like that actually made me laugh. Oh, and and I remember the tea guy getting on Grant's nerves and and slid into my DMs. He slid into your what? Like, I remember the funny ones, because them three I was just so excited seeing together on screen again that I kind of was just in awe. But like, like you think of the old trilogy, they're just such classic lines, isn't there? And I think that's what we need. We need some good old dialogue back, some good a character, a proper action character that's a quirky one that is probably going to get killed, but is like you like him.
What we need is effectively the Bill Paxton Hudson.
Absolutely,
character. That's what we need. We need that sort of like
annoying person who wants to shut up,
gets the job done, but when he's a bit of a drama queen when things go wrong. So we need something like that. It's like
we'll soon see, I guess, when the more information is going to come out over the next few months. Lots of the other channels and lots of the other podcasts will cover this anyway. And before we finish up, I'm just going to and obviously, Mike, you can do all your handles and stuff. I plan on doing another Jurassic Park pop quiz, and Neems, the movie poster guy, there's a teaser for you, will be competing in the Jurassic Pop quiz, and we're going to have a quick chat about Jurassic Rebirth and his involvement, what he can say he's been involved with at all. Coming up soon, which would be nice. Hopefully in the next sort of few weeks we'll get that done. Let's just read this comment. Allosaurus says, the only good thing about Dominion and Camp Cretaceous for me is the fact that inspired me to make my own original dinosaur projects to prove that Universal should hire me. Good, keep going with that. I love that. I love creative stuff. Absolutely. That's what's coming up for us. We might even go back on Jurassic World Evolution if Steve gets some time to do a live stream on a Thursday. We are always over on the gaming aisle on Tuesdays, so check out our gaming channel where we're playing Fortnite at the moment. And yeah, Mike, down to you. Give your handles and we'll say goodbye.
Right, so you can find me on Instagram mainly these days. So it's mike.farm. Even if you just type in my surname, you're more than likely going to find me on there. It's quite a quick little icon logo. It's like an old Triceratops type character that I designed a few years back. So yeah, can't miss me for anybody else. I don't use Twitter, or X as it's now known, as much as I used to. But if you want to find me on there, it's also mike.farm. And I'm on YouTube, but I don't post on YouTube per se, but I do comment on a lot of things. So sometimes that might pop up in my thread. I'm not sure. But I can't remember what my handle is on that. So yeah.
Yeah. So
apart from that, yeah, that's pretty much it, I think.
So just in case you didn't know what actually Mike does, he makes armatures from scratch out of like lots of different. It's like the most grown-up version of what is it called?
It's like a hybrid between Lego, Technic, and Meccano.
Yeah, but that's the Meccano, that's the one. But they're really, really well made, and you do a lot of different projects, don't you? And Jurassic's one of the projects that you work on. So yeah, go and check out his stuff if you're interested. Just to even just to have a look, because I think you'll be impressed with what he's done so far. Yeah, and that's for me. Hopefully you enjoyed the show, everybody. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and obviously like and subscribe if you're new. And only one thing left to say. Life will find a way. Bye-bye.